The room felt heavy, like everyone was holding their breath at the same time. Eyes were fixed on me, waiting for tears, anger, something dramatic. Then the words landed, sharp and final. They gave everything to my brother. Chairs creaked. Someone shifted. Silence stretched. This was the moment they expected me to break. But I didn't. No tears, no words. I just sat there, calm, and smiled. Not the kind of smile that asks for sympathy, but the kind that makes people uncomfortable. I felt the air change, confusion, unease, fear. They thought my silence meant defeat. They had no idea what it was about to change. She grew up learning how to stand on her own without ever making noise about it. Independent by necessity, patient by habit. She built her life quietly, job, stability, and self-respect earned without help from anyone. Living away from her family, she never depended on them financially or emotionally. She learned to rely on herself because she had to. As a child, she was always the quiet one, not because she lacked opinions, but because silence was safer. Her brother, though, was different. He was celebrated, protected, and praised for the smallest achievements. His mistakes were overlooked. Her efforts went unnoticed. Where he received applause, she received expectations. Where he was comforted, she was told to adjust. Over time, that contrast shaped her. She stopped asking, stopped expecting. She learned to succeed without validation and to smile without being seen. I learned early that staying quiet kept the peace, but cost me everything. The moment she stepped into the room, the air felt heavier than it should have. Conversations dropped into whispers. Words exchanged just loud enough to be heard, but never clear enough to confront. Eyes followed her movement, then quickly looked away. Side glances bounced between family members, loaded with assumptions and unspoken expectations. Her brother sat comfortably, leaning back with a confidence that felt rehearsed. A faint smile played on his lips, the kind that comes from certainty, not hope. He didn't need to say anything, his body language said it all. He already believed the outcome was in his favor. Their parents tried to appear calm, but the tension betrayed them. Tight smiles, clasped hands, forced nods that didn't quite reach their eyes. Every reaction felt carefully controlled, as if one wrong move might expose something they weren't ready to explain. She noticed everything. The way her mother avoided eye contact. The way her father cleared his throat before speaking. The subtle shifts in posture when her brother glanced their way. No detail escaped her. I didn't flinch. I didn't speak. I just watched. The lawyer's words cut through the thick silence. Everything goes to my son. The room froze. Every eye followed her, expecting a reaction: shock, tears, anger. Her brother's grin widened, confident that this moment would finally break her. Leaned back, smug, as if he had been rehearsing this exact scenario for years. Her parents maintained their composed facades, nodding subtly as if this outcome had been perfectly planned. Their calmness felt rehearsed, almost artificial. It didn't hide the tension, but the room was taut, every breath measured. The whispers around her grew quieter, replaced by the weight of expectation. All eyes were on her, silently demanding a response. Some thought she would flinch. Some thought she would argue. Some even expected her to crumble. But she didn't. Her lips curved into the faintest, controlled smile. Not because she was pleased, not because she agreed, but because she understood something they didn't. Silence can be louder than words. Her gaze swept the room, noting every subtle twitch, every micro-expression, every sign of overconfidence from her brother. She catalogued it all silently. In that moment, everything I believed about family flipped. As the room settled into a tense rhythm, her brother leaned toward a cousin, whispering loud enough for her to hear. She'd just smile again. Like always, his grin was smug, knowing her patience had been tested for years. Her parents joined in, not with overt anger, but with carefully measured, passive-aggressive remarks. It takes a lot of patience to handle this calmly, doesn't it? Her mother said sweetly, the kind of words that sting more than any shout. Her father's nod reinforced the point, silent approval of the subtle humiliation. Even the younger cousins added their quiet jabs, a playful comment here, a teasing glance. They're small, harmless on the surface, yet pointed enough to remind her of her years spent being overshadowed. Each smile, each whisper, each controlled glance was designed to provoke a reaction. They expected her to flinch, to show vulnerability, to be predictable. But she held herself steady, her back straight, her hands folded neatly in her lap. She allowed the mockery to bounce off her composed exterior. Inside, however, a storm of anger, frustration, and hurt churned silently, sharpening her awareness and resolve. Every insult, every slight, every attempt to manipulate her emotions was catalogued meticulously, stored for the perfect moment. She didn't retaliate, not yet. I smiled, but something inside me snapped. She sat perfectly still, outwardly calm, while the room buzzed with whispered comments and small gestures aimed to provoke her. Every word, every glance, every subtle shift in posture was carefully catalogued in her mind. Years of observation had trained her to notice patterns, the favoritism, the manipulation, the tiny cracks in everyone's composure. Her brother's smug confidence, once intimidating, now seemed predictable. The lawyer's slight hesitation, the way her parents' eyes flickered at the wrong moment, none of it escaped her attention. She recognized the vulnerabilities that only years of careful observation could reveal. She didn't speak. She didn't react. She let the room's energy bounce off her, unshaken. The longer she stayed silent, the more her family revealed themselves, their overconfidence making them vulnerable. Every detail was mental ammunition. Every whisper, every passive-aggressive smile fed her strategy. She was not submitting. She was preparing. Silence is a weakness. It's preparation. Finally, she leaned forward, her voice calm and deliberate. "Could you clarify this clause?" she asked, pointing to a line in the document everyone had assumed was standard. Her tone carried no anger, no accusation, just precision. The lawyer froze, pen hovering midair, caught off guard by her calm confidence. Her parents exchanged quick, nervous glances. Even her brother, who had lounged with smug assurance moments ago, stiffened. The room's energy shifted subtly but unmistakably. As she spoke, inconsistencies in the will became apparent. Hidden clauses, phrasing that contradicted prior statements. Subtle instructions that had been overlooked, all now visible. Under her calm scrutiny, the family's overconfidence faltered. Every smug smile faded, replaced with uncertainty. Her quiet dominance was clear. She didn't need to shout, raise her voice, or dramatize the moment. The truth unfolded naturally, like a light illuminating every hidden corner of the room. I didn't need to shout. The truth spoke for me. The room held its breath as the reality sank in. Her brother, once brimming with confidence, slouched in his chair, cheeks flushed with embarrassment. Every smug gesture, every whispered expectation, now seemed hollow. Her parents fumbled, attempting subtle guilt tactics, but their practiced words bounced harmlessly off her calm exterior. They realized too late that their manipulations, their unspoken assumptions, had no power over her anymore. Cousins and other family members exchanged awkward glances, sensing the shift, the hierarchy they had assumed where she would quietly endure. Always, the obedient observer crumbled in an instant. She asserted her boundaries without raising her voice, without any confrontation. Dignity, patience, and quiet observation had done what anger never could. It exposed deceit, balanced the scales, and reclaimed the respect that had long been denied. In that moment, the family saw clearly. Her silence had never been weakness, it had been strategy. And now it demanded acknowledgement. Calm beats chaos. Patience beats entitlement. She stood, composed, folding the documents neatly before placing them on the lawyer's desk. No words of confrontation left her lips. No dramatic gestures, just calm, measured steps. The room remained tense, her family stunned into silence, realizing that their attempts to provoke her had failed completely. Walking out, she did so on her own terms. Every step reflected the strength she had cultivated over years of quiet observation, patience, and endurance. This wasn't about revenge. It was about reclaiming dignity, about choosing herself over the patterns that had long dictated her life. In the quiet of the hallway, she allowed herself a deep breath, feeling a sense of inner peace she had rarely experienced. Growth wasn't loud or dramatic, it was quiet, deliberate, and unshakable. For the first time, she didn't need anyone's validation. For the first time, one chose myself. If you were in my place, would you stay silent or speak up.